Hello, my friends. Operator Starsky here. As always, a big pleasure to stream for you guys. And here in the chat, we have Europe, America, Northern America, Southern, Australia, and even Asia, as far as I see. It's really interesting because it's like very late there. Anyways, the song title is the author is Untimely Dosage. The song is called Bomb Life. I explained in the chat to Andrew Wuhu that a couple years ago I downloaded this game called Hobo Tough Life or something like that, basically Hobo Simulator. And after playing it for a while, I realized that it's basically simulator of a soldier. No money, no home. Like, it's absolutely the same. But anyways, it's really nice to see you guys. And today we're going to talk about the latest developments in the Kursk area of Ukraine. Here we have Kursk Oblast. As you probably remember, several days ago, I believe everything started on the night of Monday and Tuesday. It's already, you see, it's already in the colors of Ukrainian map, basically. So unknown forces started the advance, and today we already know the name of those forces. Like, literally, guys, I expected them to be like Chinese, maybe reptilians. I don't know, that could be anybody. Russian freedom fighters was my guess, but today we have a clear confirmation that those guys were, of course, armed forces of Ukraine, some of its most combat-worthy units, including 80th Air Assault Brigade. Those guys are like crazy. And Ukrainian Air Assault Brigades are very well known for conducting raids. For example, in 2014, 2015, they were conducting successful raids on the Russia-controlled territories of Donbass, and Minsk agreements put an end to those raids. But basically, they could literally cut the Russian troops, Russian hybrid army stationed there at the Donbass from the Russian territory. They had all kinds of capabilities to do that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and we have what we have today. What do we do now? First of all, let's just make it as if we're looking through the chronology, because since yesterday a lot of things changed. There were many different updates throughout the day. I'm sure that you saw plenty of different information coming from Kursk Oblast of Ukraine, and I wanted to just my God, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm losing words. I have like, here I have like German words, here I have Ukrainian words. English words are like lost. They're everywhere. Let's see the chronology of the events that took place there since yesterday. So this message is like, it's very important message, because as soon as this operation in Kursk started, as soon as Ukrainian troops started moving towards Sudzha, towards Lvov and other Russian cities there, so Russian channel Позывной Осетин published this message. I will translate it for you. He says, big respect to our border guards who stand there defending every even small position, destroying Ukrainians. They have no drones, no thermal vision scopes, but they are no match in terms of shooting, in terms of smaller arms. We are continuing our fight. And shortly after that, what we saw for real was this video of Russian soldiers. There's approximately 40 Russian men coming from Sudzha towards Sudzha checkpoint, not the city, towards Ukrainian border guards, and basically surrendering with white flag, everything the way it's supposed to be. And again, shortly after that, 59 more Russian prisoners were captured at the Sudzha checkpoint. And yesterday there was this very important update about Russian troops that were sent as reinforcement to reinforce the troops fighting in Sudzha. I'm talking about Russian troops. And this footage emerged showing like this huge column of vehicles coming towards the area of operation. So couple words about this very unit. This is so-called Petnashka unit. Petnashka is basically a Russian hybrid formation. They operated in Donbass, I believe, back in 2014, 2015. The name Petnashka means 15,000 rubles. It was, I believe, their salary back in the days. 50,000 rubles is something like $150 nowadays. So as soon as this footage emerged, this very column was hit, and we have this another footage showing the column on fire. As far as I can say, there are several vehicles destroyed and burned to ashes. And we have another more clear footage from the morning showing the remains of the destroyed Russian vehicles. Here we can see there's one destroyed Russian truck over there. And there we can see another one. And a bit further away, there's like a whole column with ammunitions, with remains of the Russian soldiers. So this column was hit by Ukrainian HIMARS strike. They picked wrong time to go to their to reinforce their gain, because it was HIMARS time, obviously, and they didn't make it. And of course, the generals started like bullshitting everybody that it was a Ukrainian column, but here we have a screenshot showing that, no, guys, unfortunately for you, it was a Russian column. And another update about Petnashka comes from Karty Strelachki. It's another Russian whatever channel, monitoring channel. He says, I just saw the morning video from the area. 14 trucks, Urals and Kamaz trucks with infantry, a lot of dead. The part of the vehicles were burnt. It looks that all the column was carrying the infantry. They were armed. There was one platoon in each car, approximately 3-4 companies, so the whole battalion was destroyed. Again, guys, it's from a Russian channel. Considering the remains of this column, at least half of them died. This is one of the bloodiest and most massive strikes during the whole war. Apparently, it was a HIMARS strike. Another thing, so Russians tried to, together with that column that was going there, Russians tried to drop some of the reinforcements on the Lipetsk airfield, And here they failed as well, guys, because Lipetsk airfield was also hit big time. I had this footage of like literally Bobber drones flying around in front of the camera, but unfortunately I've lost it somewhere. So we can see strikes on the Lipetsk airfield. I'm not sure if it was conducted during the landing or before the landing, but reinforcements never arrived from Lipetsk airfield. That's what we know. And again, talking of Petnashka, it's like I was really surprised that Russians sent this specific formation, because Petnashka, that was also called like inter-brigade and stuff. They operated in Donbass since 2014. We were fighting them in Mariinka actually in 2015. Just so you could understand, like it was a something that took place in Mariinka quite a while ago, but worth mentioning. So here we have Kurakhova, and from Kurakhova there's this highway going to Mariinka, and north of Mariinka we have Krasnohorivka, right? So Alexandrivka here, it was controlled by the Russian hybrid army, and Petnashka, together with a bunch of other Desherge Vityaz and other Russian destitutes, they attempted to storm Mariinka, and they were partially successful, but what they didn't know was that they were basically brought into a trap, and our artillery hit their vehicles, their tanks, their infantry, and they all burned, and they had to withdraw. So it was like one of the biggest failures in 2015. My battalion back in those days, I served in the police battalion. No, not even police. Back in those days, it was called militia. It was like police only in Ukraine, and it was before the reforms, because police was reformed in Ukraine in late 2015. And that's I still have some pictures from Mariinka, exactly that period of time. That's June 2015. That is the road behind me, the road that leads to Alexandrivka. That way there, they had like stables in Alexandrivka that we were burning every single time. Like one of the commanders, I believe his call sign was Kuba, and he had BMP, like armored vehicle, with different weaponry. And for some reason, I don't know why, but he used to burn that very stables every single time, because Russians were using them as their position. And every single time we saw it burning, we were like, oh, damn it, Kuba is at it again. But returning to nowadays, the Institute for Studying of Warfare published its approximate map as of yesterday. And according to this map, we can see that Ukraine is currently controlling approximately 400 kilometers of the Russian territory. I think as of today, it's a bit more than that. But it's really cunning. In the beginning, I thought that it's really cool that they can basically stretch Russian defense, distract Russian resources, and drag them in any direction. Koreneva, these cities, oh my God, Snagost. Oh, Jesus Christ, what sort of naming is that? I cannot I cannot get accustomed to Russian names. They're so freaking cringy. So basically, we can advance in any direction and wreak chaos and stuff. But we had another report from Russian sources, because they're really, really funny to read. And also Ukrainian Armed Forces are keeping low profile. We keep the operational security. So there were messages like this one saying that armed forces of Ukraine already started preparing positions, already started digging in on the controlled areas in the Kursk Oblast, and they introduced the second echelon of the troops. The enemy started creating fortifications. They started making trenches, bunkers, and caponiers for the vehicles. In Kursk Oblast, the enemy keeps relocating the troops, BMP, BTRs, tanks, and armored vehicles to the territory of the Russian terrorist federation. It's according to the Russian so-called war correspondent Yuri Kotyonok. He is basically a Russian propagandist, but sometimes, when they're panicking, sometimes he posts stuff like this. We can also see Ukrainian soldiers tearing apart Russian flag and celebrating, unfortunately without sound. Anyways, guys, one of the cringiest messages I saw like literally yesterday, and I actually wanted to make this update yesterday, but guys, I was a bit busy because my lady had a birthday, and I had to sacrifice this time. But here we have a message from Ukrainian monitoring channel. It's from a guy who reports from the area, and first message, the top message says, okay, we are starting to have problems with transport because we have too many fucking POWs. Right now, we will start thinking what to do and how to help our guys. We have a great idea. I'm sure that you will support it. And of course, like, people started commenting on it, and second message is like, what the fuck are you talking about? What kind of mobile crematorium? Mobile crematorium, oh my god. But generally, from what we can see, Russians are not really satisfied with how this special military operation is going. There's plenty commentaries like this. Fuck you with this special military operation. And they're highly dissatisfied because, remember when all those Russians celebrated beginning of the special military operation, the invasion of Ukraine, they were celebrating, they were drawing those Z's and V's and throwing those like fascist zigas. I'm not sure how they do it. But, as soon as they started having internal refugees themselves, as soon as their own cities became raided by professional army, apparently they don't like it much now. And I believe that it's well deserved. After Bucha and after all the shit they've done to Ukraine, like literally, sorry, but I believe that all the shit that happens there to them is absolutely justified. But at the same time, this is something so cringy, we all know how Russian invasion in Ukraine looked like during the first days, like those massive shootings of civilians in Bucha, mass graves in places like Motyzhin, So it was a massacre, like literally a massacre of the civilian population in Ukraine. Unfortunately for Russian propagandists, Ukrainians are not Russians, and we don't do that shit. That's why currently they're starting spreading these sort of messages. Again, I will translate it for you. I want to know what you think about it. So, story from the ground. Occupiers in Kursk Oblast, and it's from a Russian Telegram channel. Again, this is like propaganda that they're sharing right now in the social media. Occupiers, the Ukrainians, in the Kursk Oblast stopped a car with civilians, and they asked a mobile phone from the driver. The driver refused to give his phone. After that, they gave him a lethal injection and he died. Summary. It seems like Ukrainians were commanded during elimination of the civilian population not to use their weapons, so there would be no signs or no traces of the crime. Civilian population is being murdered by injections. Something that I have some association in my mind with things like combat mosquitoes. It's weird that they didn't mention combat mosquitoes here, but it's kind of cool. Combat mosquitoes, they could use I don't know, like lasers, NATO provided lasers. That could be really, really nice. NATO provided lasers. What else? Trained dogs, dogs trained specifically to like eat civilians. They kill civilians and then they eat them, leaving absolutely no traces, from the bodies. So bodies cannot be found. Things like that. Guys, it is so insane. I'm sure that soon we will see a lot of similar things, but a lot of Russian conscripts, it turned out, a lot of Russian conscripts got... where is the video that I wanted to show? I think it's not here. So a lot of Russian conscripts were also captured, and Russian mothers already started an informational campaign. And let me see where I had it. Here it is. Again, I will translate it for you. Everything here is in Russian. So this campaign it's like a tag saying conscripts are kids, and they say after all those videos that were shared showing conscripts that were captured during the Ukrainian offensive in Kursk, wives of the mobilized called for a flash mob, and the idea is to raise awareness of the authorities and to make it so they won't forget about the story, to call to bring young guys that were forcefully sent to the border back home. And they ask people to post pictures featuring those like banners saying conscripts are kids, which is like, okay, I can totally understand this idea. At the same time, it reminded me of different conscripts, Ukrainian conscripts. So, as you probably remember, I told you about this Battle of Hostomel that took place on the very, very first day of the Russian invasion. And our guys, the personnel that was protecting the Hostomel airfield from Russian invaders and our base, it mostly consisted of conscripts, Ukrainian conscripts that were trained, and basically that killed as like at least 80 of them. That's according to the memories of the guys that were forced to collect Russian bodies at the Hostomel airfield. So those guys were also like kids, okay, comparing to myself. I was like 36, 37 back then. Those guys were like 19, 20. But they were different type of conscripts. That's just another comparison. Trouble with the audio. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself. Guys, I'm not sure if you have trouble with the audio. Just let me know. Maybe I will tweak it a bit. So today we saw another interview, another video that emerged like literally today, showing Ukrainian soldiers in what seems to be Sudzha, Russian town of Sudzha. Let me see where it was. Oh my god. I had to save it. Guys, just a second. Let me find it for you. It was right here. Just 1 minute, guys. Here it is. Downloads. Thank you so much. I hope we will hear some sound as well.
З міста Суджа. Новини в нас такі. Місто контролюється Збройними силами України. В місті спокій. Всі будинки, всі міста цілі.
He says, hello everybody, the latest updates from Sudzha is following. The city is being controlled by the armed forces of Ukraine. Everything's quiet, everything is calm, peaceful.
Стратегічний об'єкт Газпром в місті Суджа контролюється 99-м механізованим батальйоном 61-ї окремої степової бригади.
So the strategic object, which is Gazprom office in Sudzha, is being controlled by the... wait a minute.
61-ї окремої степової бригади.
By the mechanized battalion of the 61st, he said.
Степової бригади. В місті Суджа контролюється 99-м механізованим батальйоном
99th Mechanized Battalion
61-ї окремої
of the 61st Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine.
Степової бригади. Всім мирного неба.
Слава Україні!
So, after this video, I can assure you that those guys are Ukrainians, not Chinese, not reptilians, but our guys, Cossacks, like literally roaming around the city. And you know what? I decided to find this place on the map. And here we have Sudzha, right? And here we have Gazprom. So I'm not really sure if that is the Gazprom that they were talking about, because I have my doubts. Rather like 70% that it's a wrong place. But the reason I wanted to show you this is because, you know, here they show like related objects located here, and I was like scrolling it today, and what I found was the office of a department for protection of social protection. It's a local department for social protection. I believe that this department needs protection itself. Like, what the hell is this shit? Jesus Christ. Do they have more photos? I don't know how to scroll it. Anyways, it looks really, really cool, in my opinion. How do I scroll this crap? Oh my god. But just so you could understand how Russian realities look like in real life. It's like you won't see that shit in the Moscow downtown, but in places like Sudzha, there's a lot of that crap. Okay, that is, ladies and gentlemen, that is Department for a Social Protection in Sudzha. I hope, and not just I hope, but I'm absolutely sure that, you know, after Ukrainian troops protected the Ukrainian speakers in Kursk Oblast, especially in Sudzha, I believe that this place will look much, much better, like in Europe, for example. I'm sure that locals will support it. You know, it's so cringy to see all those like offices in Russia. Oh my god, they're... anyways, what else do we have here? Let's talk about memes, because this one I found hilarious. Again, it's in Ukrainian. I will translate it for you because it's freaking amazing. Remember, like Zolkin, the one who interviews Russian prisoners, Zolkin on the left says, do you feel that you are an occupier? The dude on the right goes, no. He's like, what do you mean no? Where were you captured? He's like, in Kursk Oblast. Zolkin like, okay. Another meme which, you know, I posted today, it's a screenshot. It's not related to the Kursk operation, but it's a screenshot from official BRICS page. Okay, and I'm sure that you saw it. And it says, Mexico's president says if Vladimir Putin attends the country's presidential inauguration, they will not comply with the International Criminal Court's warrant and will not arrest him. Guys, I posted this update not to make fun of Mexicans. Guys, no, like I'm not blaming Mexicans. I'm not like making fun of them, nothing like that. I posted literally so you could understand the level of journalism. So imagine like serious news outlet. For example, this channel is literally like main channel of information for BRICS on Twitter, of course, where they say shit like, you know, we made an agreement, and Putin, that is, you know, wanted internationally for war crimes, you know, he will not be arrested. What sort of degenerate is running this channel? I have no idea. I suspect that he sits like in Moscow somewhere. For obvious reasons. Like, I mean, of course, he's not sitting in like Beijing or something like that. But what sort of degenerate even makes those news? From the standpoint of communication specialist, you know, even like mentioning that your president is internationally wanted criminal is cringy as fuck. Like, guys, it's when, you know, instead of studying public relations, you study fucking propaganda and visit master classes of like Skabieva. It's just so cringy. But the even cringiest thing that I found today, again, it's not really related to the Kursk operation, but it's a different thing. So Russians announced that they created a killer of Xbox and PlayStation. So they presented their own, I don't know how to call it, game console using, so this game console uses insane amount of Russian parts. Okay, it uses 2 Russian processors, Elbrus, and you can see all of those not really Russian games that were already ported to this console. And according to the developers, the console will be able to run games that are like 10, 15 years old. And it will be available for grateful Russian gamers in 2028. So I believe that at this very point, like Sony and Microsoft, they literally don't know what to do with their lives because the killer is being announced for like 2028. They will apparently have to, I don't know, find some kind of solution to this because it's really dangerous for Sony PlayStation and Xbox. Okay, slowly we are approaching to the section of questions and answers. Could I ask you about a raid on the Kinburg Spit reported on TVP World yesterday? As far as I know, there was a raid conducted on a Kinsburg. I'm not sure how you call it in English. We call it Kinsburgska Kosa. This place in Crimea, like over here. As you probably see, it's like an appendix. Here we have Crimea. So you could understand where it is. This is where glorious Russian worship Moscow saying, and this is what we call Kinsburgska Kosa. So this area was raided by Ukrainian forces, and they reported that approximately 30 Russian invaders were eliminated as a result of the raid. That is basically all I know. I saw this report today, and again, one very important update that I wanted to mention, because I saved it for you guys. It's like recent update. So in Sudzha region in Kursk Oblast, ammunition storages were captured by the Ukrainian Armed Forces. According to the spokesman of the Operative Command South, Serhiy Brachuk, he said that ammunition was meant to be used by the Russian troops north that had to attack Sumy, that were preparing to attack Sumy, not in the closest future, but eventually. And they failed. What else do we have here? Russians are hysterical. Again, they're calling Putin to react, to save them, to save people of Kursk, which again is absolutely pointless because Ukrainians already saving Ukrainian-speaking people of Kursk. And they don't seem to like the special military operation in Ukraine anymore, which to me, I say this, until they realize that, you are doomed to bring the war on the soles of your boots back home, until they realize that war will touch everybody, until they feel it, they will not change their mind. I'm sure that the recent events in Kursk and upcoming events in that region, probably in Belgorod as well, they will change a lot of things in the Russian mind for good, okay, for better. What else? Guys, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. How do I do this? Okay. Can you run Air Crash Simulator on those consoles? I think they should, make a game like Crash a Russian jet fighter into a Russian civilian building. That would work, definitely. That would raise sales 100%. Is a Russian conscript worth more than a regular Russian soldier in a future exchange of POWs? They don't really look, they are not professional soldiers, okay? Russian conscripts are basically children with rifles that cannot do shit. That is something that we saw during the first days of the Russian invasion in Kyiv Oblast, in area of Irpin, Bucha, and other places. We captured quite a lot of Russian conscripts, even though Putin claimed that there were no Russian conscripts in the area. So in terms of skill, they are not better than regular Russian soldier, because regular Russian soldier at least receives some kind of, even I cannot call it a training, but their training is better than in conscripts. I'm not sure if they will have any kind of advantage over regular Russian troops in terms of exchange, even despite the fact that they're younger. But guys, Putin doesn't care. Literally, Putin doesn't care how old are his soldiers, whether they're conscripts or professional soldiers. He doesn't give a damn about it. This one is really important. Why don't we hear from the Chechen TikTok brigade anymore? So Kadyrovites published explanation of why they didn't protect Sudzha from Ukrainian troops. Basically, they said something like Ukrainian soldiers missed them. So Ukrainian soldiers were attacking, and Kadyrovites were preparing to bravely defend Russia from Ukrainian Cossacks, Ukrainian raiders. But they kind of missed them, they were here and they went there. Who knows? So I saw another report stating that there was a whole rescue operation organized to search and find and rescue Kadyrovites that vanished in Kursk. Literally, they disappeared. Nobody knows where. So I don't think that we will hear about them anytime soon, unfortunately. Ukraine bringing McDonald's back to Russia. McDonald's and KFC, soon you will see borscht and halushki cabbage rolls available in McDonald's and apparently KFC of Kursk, maybe Moscow, St. Petersburg. They will cost much less than they cost nowadays. They will cost, I would say, I don't know, 50 Ukrainian hryvnias, maybe. Can armed forces of Ukraine hold onto what it has captured? That is something that convinced me that it's not just a raid like all the previous times, that it's a solid operation, because there's many reports stating that Ukrainian troops are building fortifications and they're preparing to keep this territory. For what reason? I cannot tell you guys. We need to expect official commentaries. I have no idea. Maybe this territory will be exchanged for Ukrainian territory. maybe, I don't know, there will be like referenda because, again, a lot of Ukrainians live in Kursk. That is historically Ukrainian land. Yes, they're in internationally recognized borders, 100%. But people's will is people's will, according to Elon Musk, British Colonel McGregor, and people like them. If people decide to join Ukraine, then we will have to accept them, of course. What about Russians, Chechens, and Belarusians fighting on Ukraine's side? What happens to them if they get captured? Would they be exchanged? They are being exchanged. We have already such cases, and we have returned already quite a few of those guys. So, luckily, Russians do exchange prisoners. Luckily, we have this communication with them. I heard that Russian conscripts carry a toolkit for removing washing machines and toilets. I'm not sure they carry like toolkits. At most, they can carry like cleaning toolkit for an AK if they not if they didn't lose them, because those soldiers. But I would not be surprised. Is this operation is for a long run or a short term? That's exactly what I was saying. Considering that they're building fortifications, again, we only have like messages, like no photos, no videos of those fortifications, so we cannot say that it's like 100% legit information. But if it's true, it means that it's for a long run. Only 2 days ago, I was convinced that it's just another raid, conducted in order to stretch Russian defenses and distract their reserves. But it doesn't seem like the case. What are the political implications for Russia? So first of all, the red lines, right? The red lines that all of the politicians around the world, they were so much afraid to cross. Nowadays, we see that it's like literally nonsense. Russia is not nuking anybody. Russia is not nuking like neither Ukrainian cities nor cities like London, Paris, Brussels, Washington. So those red lines can be crossed easily. They have no guts to use nuclear weapons because the only way they can use those weapons is literally. Remember when Medvedev has a speech or like publishes something on Twitter, he goes like, we will nuke everybody and like kill the world. This is how nuclear weapons are used, basically. Will Gerasimov survive the humiliation? I believe he will. I believe he will because he already reported to Putin that the situation is under control. They already like defended all the cities and Ukrainians are removed and stuff like that. So I think he will survive humiliation. Maybe he will get awarded as well. Do you think they will capture the power plant? There is such there is such possibility, because over here oh my god. So approximately in Казачья Лакня. Those names, they are insane. Kurchatov power plant. Yeah, so here we have power plant, which is literally like which is literally like, how many kilometers is that? I would say like 50, 60 kilometers from Sudzha. That is Kursk power plant. Okay. You can see the reservoir. And I remember that President Zelensky announced that Ukraine will be able to produce something like 1 gigawatt of power more this year. I'm not sure if he mentioned that, but it does seem to be the case. They're digging in. It is reported by Ribar, a Russian guy. I believe it was reported by him and several other sources not connected. It was reported by Katya. Wait, where is it? Yuri Kotyonok, Russian propagandist. So he basically reports that Ukrainian troops are building fortifications, digging trenches and stuff like that. Did you want to talk about the Ukrainian language? Oh, yeah, by the way, some of the viewers, unfortunately, I don't remember the name, I beg my pardon, but some of the viewers asked me, in which cases do we pronounce K in names like Kherson? Let's check out the map, shall we? So, for example, here we have a city of Kherson. That's like literally to make life easier for you, okay? Because Ukrainian language has some interesting rules of pronunciation. So in case we have this KH in Kherson, right? Wait a minute. So in case we have this in the name of a city or like a name of a person, that is always h. That is not kh. We don't say that. Because in Ukrainian language, this letter, which is H, is usually pronounced either like ha or like h. My God, how to explain this? Ha is ha, is like between g and h. Like in Hogwarts. Okay, in English it's Hogwarts, but in all Ukrainian books, for some reason, it's Hogwarts. So, like when we're talking about things like taxes, right? To Ukrainian ear, name taxes sounds as unusual as it does sound to you when Ukrainians call it Texas. Okay, so in Ukrainian language, this letter in taxes, it's ha. And by the way, this letter, which is H, and it's read as ha, as well as this ha. In Ukrainian language, like this letter, it's not X, it's ha. It's always ha. So that's about the pronunciation. Also, in places like Zaporizhia, for example, we have, oh my God. This one is really crazy. So in Zaporizhia, you see, you have like and then you have like this stuff. like ZH, IA. How the hell do you read that? So in Ukrainian transliteration, when we want to translate Ukrainian letter Z, because we have analog of, it's not an analog. In English, you have J that can sometimes be used in words like Sudzha. Or you have G that's sometimes also pronounced like J. But in Ukrainian language, we have this crazy letter, crazy Slav letter that is Z. And in order to let you know that we mean this specific letter, we have this stuff, ZH. So ZH is never pronounced as ZH. Okay, it's always pronounced as Z in Ukrainian names. That's literally so you could understand. David Adamchuk, David Adamczyk, yes, that is like Zaporozhye. So that is literally to make your life a bit easier when you're reading Ukrainian names or titles. This stuff is always read as Kha, like in Хортиця or Kherson. We don't say Kherson, no, we say Kherson. This stuff is always pronounced as Z, okay? And this stuff sometimes can be pronounced as H, sometimes as G, as in Galushke. That is something that will improve your understanding of the Ukrainian language, hopefully. Because I noticed that a lot of viewers often ask me to explain them how to do that, how to read Ukrainian names. That is like literally a rule that works all the time. Was Brandon's bio attack a distraction for the Kursk attack? I don't think that it was a distraction. I think it was rather like a preparation for another attack in the direction of Murmansk. That is just my opinion. Again, we don't have much information and much detail to confirm it. But in my opinion, Massa was leading another battalion tactical group towards the Murmansk in that direction. And this bio attack was basically conducted to prepare the ground. And they didn't even use like genetically modified mosquitoes or combat ducks. They literally used, biological mining of the area. Will this force the Russians to fortify their whole border, making sure that it cannot happen in other places? They can do that. They can attempt to do that because currently they have, for example, southern front area of Kherson, Zaporizhia, Dnipro. They have those areas, that span of the front line more or less secured. They build like layered defense in that area, including minefields and plenty of bunkers and fortifications, of course. So they have some power, some resources to do that on their border as well. But judging from what happened in Kursk, I believe that it's a bit too late for them because in Kursk they spent billions of rubles, of Russian rubles, in order to organize that defense. Plenty of minefields, plenty of dragon teeth and stuff like that. Nothing helped. We saw Ukrainian vehicles just rolling through the through those defenses, like nothing could stop them. So they can try to organize defense, but again, it requires quite a bit more time than they have right now. Is it true that the Soviets made the letter G illegal? I've never heard about that. Hello, Martin. Hi, Starsky, my man. What is the reason for the Kursk campaign? For bargaining in peace talks? That could be one of the reasons. So one of the reasons is, of course, using those territories to as exchange for Ukrainian territories that are captured by Russians. But again, who knows? We don't have any information. Budanov, Zelensky, and Sursky, they just smile and they don't say anything. We expect at least some kind of statement from them. Everybody does. Is it possible that Kursk operation is part of a much larger operation involving the F-16s? Operation in Kursk was not created specifically to involve F-16s. F-16s are airplanes that can be used in as much as 5 different types of missions. And if they were meant to be involved, we would see them flying there. On the other hand, again, I don't really think that we will see a lot of announcements about F-16s, like F-16s hit Russian positions in like Kursk anytime soon because of the operational security. They can be used, but we will hear about that, I believe, in a couple of days or maybe even weeks. Did Ukraine liberate any washing machines from Sudzha in revenge? It was a meme, Russians stealing Ukrainian washing machines. Actually, we had a joke the other day. It's we are attacking Kursk because we want to poop in our toilets. I found it really, really funny and legit. Where is Wagner now? We know that it operates in Africa mostly, and some of the goons are used to train Russian military personnel, as well as Belarusian military personnel. I can tell you for sure where Prigozhin is. Is it possible that Ukraine army is 10 kilometers away from Kursk city? I don't think so. But again, because of the safety margin in terms of time, they could be much closer. Recon can be there 100%. So one thing you should understand is Russians built 2 defense lines in the area of Sudzha, and those 2 defense lines were broken by Ukrainian forces. They don't have more defense lines. If they want to build them, for example, in Kursk, because they were not preparing for this sort of events. So I believe that they're chaotically building them now. and they have a lot of a lot of chaos happening right now in area around Kursk, because there's refugees from area of Sudzha, for example. They have to accept those refugees. There's Russian Rosgvardia, Russian Guard, being brought to Kursk to defend it in case, the city is attacked. There's all kinds of services right now trying to build fortifications, build trenches and stuff like that. So there's like literally chaos happening right now in Kursk. That's 100%. Should Ukraine change the alphabet to Latin and create Ukrainian letters like in Polish, Czech, or Croatian? Then Russians won't bother you with false claims of you being Russians. I don't mind. I mean, if Ukrainian alphabet is changed to Latin, I don't mind, absolutely, because, for example, Polish example is a great example of how Latin alphabet can be used, to spell like sounds of a Slavic language. Same with Czech, for example. So I don't mind much. Letters are just letters. Nobody will get hurt if it's introduced in Ukrainian language as well. Is there any Russian army between Moscow and Kursk? Of course, there is Russian army. Not only there are units of the armed forces of Russia, there's also units of Rosgvardia. Basically, because it's something like we have in Ukrainian National Guard, there are units that are stationed in the cities, military units basically, that are stationed in the cities in order to defend this city in case of some kind of attack or something like that. So there's always troops there. Cities are not defended by just a bunch of police and police spetsnaz. They're also defended by Rosgvardia. And Rosgvardia is Russian analog of like Ukrainian National Guard or gendarmes in France or carabinieri in Italy, or National Guard in Chile. That is one good example. However, in Chile, National Guard is responsible for like everything, like military, law enforcement, and everything. In Russia, it's a different military force that is often used to beat up protesters, by the way. Do you think all those 18-year-old conscripts surrendered in order to get their mobile phone privileges back? There's this funny joke that after Ukraine took control over those territories in Kursk, mobile connection improved, including YouTube, by the way. There's a lot of like funny Russian commentaries saying like, guys, welcome to Kursk, we want YouTube. Fuck that special military operation, give us chance to watch our favorite videos. But in Russian army, of course, you cannot use mobile phone all the time. There are specific hours. Usually it's like in the evening when you can take your mobile phone for like an hour and text your relatives. Is Starsky a cyborg? And it's a really good question, by the way. Let me check it out. Because I don't know. Starsky. I don't really know. I would really like to see it myself. Okay, so he's known for withdrawing Ukrainian troops from encirclement during the battles of Debaltseve 2015-16 and commanding our troops during the battle for Kyiv. So I don't think that he's a cyborg. I think that my commander told me about him during the Debaltseve operation, because my commander, before he became commander of my brigade, he fought in Debaltseve together with Starsky, General Starsky, and also they met almost, like 9 years later, during the battle for Kyiv, because my brigade was also involved into this. Even though we didn't have much troops, we only had like a platoon, maybe a bit more, but we were attached to the army that was controlled by General Starsky during the Battle of Kyiv. Yeah, but he's not a cyborg from what I see. Wait a second. Okay, Debaltseve, joint headquarters of the armed forces. No, I don't see anything about the Donetsk airport. So cyborgs, my dear friends, this is how Russians called Ukrainian defenders of the Donetsk airport between 2014 and 2015. During 242 days of heroic defense of this airport, where Russians would throw all kinds of like Chechen, Kadyrovite Spetsnaz, and Wimpel, and Omega, and other magical Orthodox forces that they had, and regular Russian troops as well. So the guys that were defending the Donetsk airport from the Russian troops, Russians called them cyborgs because they literally couldn't kill them. They would constantly shell this area using their multiple launch rocket systems and tanks and mortars and other artillery, but they would always fight back no matter what. Back then they didn't use aviation because they pretended that Russians are not there, but they used all kinds of shit that was brought from Russia, including, by the way, air defense, like that system Buk that shot down MH17 airplane flying from Netherlands to Malaysia. So Ukrainian guys were called cyborgs by Russians, and after that, this name basically turned into like a legend. So I knew a lot of cyborgs, and when Russian invasion of Ukraine started, back in those days, Donetsk airport, to us, it was like something insane. It was probably the most dangerous span of the front line, the most dangerous area where you could find yourself. I had friends that were wounded there, like massively. And after the beginning of the Russian invasion, when Russians started bombing our cities and using their thermobaric charges shot from systems like TOS-1, Sancepek, and of course their aviation and missiles and fleet, the guys who fought in the Donetsk airport, they said that that is like comparing to what we have today, Donetsk airport was easy. Even though to people like me, it was the last place I would like to see myself. Is it true that the nearest Chechen unit said "fuck no" and left the area? Basically, yeah. Basically, what they said was that Ukrainian troops passed them or like missed them during their advance, and they were heroically sitting there expecting Ukrainian troops, but unfortunately, Ukrainian troops took another path, so they kind of missed them. That's why it didn't happen, you know. Otherwise, of course, yeah, they would show the true might of the Kadyrovite Spetsnaz. Can you talk to us about your future plans? You've served your time honorably and continue to do lots to help the effort. What is going to happen to our Starsky next? My friend, there are two things that can happen to me in case I am called by the mobilization center, because I am not like resting or not, oh my God, not on a cruise. Let's call it this way. I am not on a cruise in Europe. I'm still in reserve. As soon as my mobilization center calls me, I will return there. But if not, I will continue fighting Russian propaganda, and not only Russian propaganda. We have a lot of beautiful totalitarian regimes like China, like North Korea, and other sketchy places. So I will continue doing that. Anyone know the population of Kursk? Let's check it out. Population of Kursk is 440,000 people as of 2021. I tell you this, if you want to take a city like Kursk, you will need a bit more people that are currently having fun there, roaming around Kursk Oblast. I can tell you for sure, because I believe something like 20, I believe there were 20 Russian battalion tactical groups that were meant to take Kyiv. And in the end, they ended up being in the operative encirclement, so they had to withdraw. I mean, remains of those Russian battalion tactical groups. So you will need quite a lot of people, I tell you that. Did Ukrainian forces bring good plumbing to Kursk as a goodwill gesture? My friend, I think they already have Ukrainian plumbing. Over 2 years, they had plenty of opportunities to change whatever they had there for Ukrainian plumbing snatched in places like Bakhmut. Kadyrovites are Orthodox forces. Well, but they're fighting for like Orthodox Russian whatever, Orthodox Russian world. Do you dislike all Orthodox people? I really don't, because I was baptized myself as an Orthodox Christian. That's why I cannot dislike them whatsoever. Does anyone know why Darth Vader was given a Dutch last name? Why not Russian? Apparently it's because he joined the dark side. He wasn't born in Mordor. Apparently that's the reason. Why is everyone always giving Polish spelling grief? They just use the letter Z the exact same way we abuse the letter H. Yeah, could be. In Polish language, like in my opinion, Polish language is like really simple. If you have Z and let me switch it. Okay, if you have like Z and E in Polish, it's read as Z. If you have Z and this bird, it's also read as Z. In other cases, Z is read as Z. Like literally nothing crazy, nothing extremely hard. Will Ukraine now hold a referendum in Kursk? No, Pete, we will not hold a referendum in Kursk. Kursk people will hold a referendum in Kursk. This is how it works. It didn't work in, like, nobody recognized referenda in Donbass in 2014 because Russia held this referenda. Referenda in Kursk must be held by local people, like Ukrainian-speaking people of Kursk, I believe. I believe that they will massively join Ukraine if given such chance, because we have YouTube, we have McDonald's, and we are Europeans. What is Spetsnaz situation now? How has the war affected them? Spetsnaz situation. I know that Spetsnaz was decimated big time during these years. Like in case of Spetsnaz, in case of units like Alpha, like Wimpel, etc., it takes many months, if not years, to train an operator that would perform well. But somehow majority of them died, that they were literally burned in like first months of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, if not weeks. Like in Hostomel, for example. In Hostomel, Russians brought all sorts of like super elite goons, like Pskov paratroopers. Then there was this, I believe, Dzerzhinsky Special Forces, Spetsnaz, super cosmonauts. I believe as much as 1/3 of them died there during the first day. And later, in the following months, they died in different places of Ukraine. That's why, guys, there's really not many Russians who can tell you the story of Hostomel. Not many alive Russians, okay? There are like Russians from Rosgvardia, if they're still alive, because all those 200-something thousands Russian troops that were attacking Ukraine in the first months, they're already dead. But if they survived, they can tell you something. But the very first day, the very first morning, the combat that took place on the Hostomel airfield and my base, neighboring this airfield, not many Russians can tell you this story, because fortunately for us, they died. I've been there. I haven't seen Russians there. I'm still with you, talking to you, and I can tell you what happened there. That's the difference. Szczecin. Because CI is also pronounced as Chi. CI. So it's Szczecin. Szczecin. Is Russia actually running out of tanks by now? As far as we know, Russia is able to produce optimistically 500-600 tanks a year. That is very, very optimistically, because again, they require a lot of spare parts from Europe. We know that they used, for example, thermal vision equipment from countries like France. Currently, they cannot do that. So they produce optimistically 500-600 tanks a year, but considering the dynamics of losing those tanks, which they've lost already more than 3,000 tanks during just past 2 years, they kind of do. They're already running out of tanks. They use old ones like T-62, which cannot be compared to T-64. That is like two absolutely different machines. T-62 is ancient. It really is. It's like post-war shit, and they're trying to bring them from storages. Again, you probably saw like Russian storages of vehicles. That is like basically cemetery of the Russian world. Okay, a lot of vehicles that need to be refurbished, that need to be brought back to life and sent to Ukraine. So we are talking about building new tanks, not refurbishing them. Refurbishing kind of saves the situation, but not for long. Again, for the reason that those tanks that they have in the storages, they're extremely old. Nothing like T-64, T-72. Like T-62 is an ancient shit. Look at this. T-62 is a Soviet main battle tank that was introduced in 61. That is 63 years ago. It's a further development of the T-55 series that are also being refurbished and brought from the storages. So then we have T-64. That is a modern, okay? That is, even though it was introduced in the early 60s, but it is a modern tank because it was modified and updated throughout the years. Here, for example, you can see Ukrainian Armed Forces. This is modern, heavily modified Ukrainian T-64 that is like legit, okay? That is legit stuff. And Russians currently bringing that scrap from the storages. Which, again, it's still tank. It's still dangerous, it still can shoot, but they burn much more often than modern tanks. Can you see this, or is it censored? I think I can see this. See that? Yeah, it's like church. Yeah, that's exactly the case. T-54, and then I believe T-34, maybe. Who knows? There was a joke that the last tank combat that took place in Kursk was tank combat that involved T-34. In 2024, there's a big chance that we will still see T-34 used in the area. Okay, my dear friends, I will be going to bed. I hope that this stream was informative for you guys. Let's keep our eye on the situation in Kursk because it's really interesting. And I really hope that you will have a great weekend because it's Friday night tonight, and I hope that you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for supporting Ukraine. As always, be safe. Bye-bye.